This is the Red Book of Hatchlands, which came from the collection of Mrs. J.P. Morgan, Jr., whose sons Henry S. Morgan and Junius Morgan gave it to the Morgan in 1954. Here you see the typical red Morocco binding, which gives the Red Books their name. Hatchlands is an estate in Surrey that had been acquired by the Sumner family. George Holmes Sumner hired Repton to suggest improvements in the estate around 1800. Here again you see that Repton has put his trade card on the inside front cover of the binding facing his title page. Like other Red Books, this one begins with an aerial view of the property showing the manor house, parkland, woods and meadows, as well as possible scenic walks. Humphry Repton's first suggestion to Sumner was to cover the red brick facade with white stucco, which was much more picturesque in Repton's opinion. As it happened, Sumner did follow Repton's advice in some ways, but resisted the idea of the stucco facade over the red brick, and to this day, the manor house is still in its original red brick facade. Here is a typical Repton recommendation. He's suggesting that Sumner should remove some trees to open up the view from the house. So you see the overlay with the scene in its current state, and with the overlay up with the trees removed and a much more scenic prospect from the house. Unfortunately, the Hatchlands Red Book is missing the overlay for this scene. You could imagine that the before version with the overlay showed a rather dull and uninspired pleasure ground. And by lifting the overlay, you then see this orangery, which Repton recommended to add visual enhancement to the scene. Repton often ended a Red Book with a concluding statement urging his client to carry out his ideas. And this is certainly the case here, where Repton tells Sumner that if you follow my suggestions, your manor would be changed from a large red house by the side of a high road to a gentleman-like residence in the midst of a park. Sumner appears to have carried out a number of Repton's ideas, which can be seen today in the Hatchlands estate, which is now a National Trust property. Not only can you see what's left of Repton's designs, but you can also see a garden designed by the notable Victorian landscape architect Gertrude Jekyll.